Hello, Virgo. The version of this person you've been seeing is about to become obsolete. The image you've constructed, the narrative you've told yourself about who they are, the role you've cast them in your life, that's all about to shift. And when you see them clearly, when the illusion drops, it's going to change how you relate to them completely. Prepare yourself because clarity comes with cost. Seeing people differently is inevitable when you stop filtering reality through what you want to believe. You've been seeing them through lens of hope, maybe, lens of how you want them to be, lens of who you've decided they are, based on limited information, based on interactions that showed you only parts of them, based on narrative you constructed about their character before you actually knew their character completely. But lenses distort, lenses soften edges, lenses make people more beautiful or more terrible than they actually are, depending on whether lens is rose tinted or dark tinted. And the lens you've been using to see this person, it's finally cracking. The distortion is finally becoming visible. Reality underneath is finally becoming available to you. This isn't about them changing. They haven't changed. What's changing is your ability to see them clearly. What's changing is that information you didn't have access to before is now becoming available. What's changing is that you're finally looking without the lens, finally seeing the actual person instead of the person you imagined, finally recognizing patterns you ignored, behaviors you excused, truths you avoided. And seeing clearly is different than seeing the way you've been seeing. Seeing clearly is harder. Seeing clearly doesn't let you construct comfortable narratives. Seeing clearly means accepting that people are complicated, that people you love might not be who you thought they were, that your judgment of them was off and now you have to recalibrate, reassess, decide what this means for how you relate to them moving forward. Let me show you what kind of clarity is coming and how it's going to shift your perception. Possibility one, you're going to see how self-centered they actually are. You've maybe thought they were generous, attentive, focused on you, but now you're going to start noticing that most conversations circle back to them. Most decisions prioritize them. Most of their support comes with strings attached or expectations of reciprocation that they haven't been naming but have been maintaining. You're going to see that their kindness has been strategic, that their interest in you has been about what you can do for them, what you represent to them, how you make them feel, rather than about actually knowing you, actually valuing you, actually caring about your well being, independent of how it affects them. And once you see this, you can't unsee it. You'll start noticing it everywhere. The way they interrupt when you're talking, the way they turn your problems into conversations about their problems, the way they help you but keep invisible ledger of what you owe them, the way their support comes with conditions they've never explicitly stated but that are clearly there. This doesn't mean they're evil, means they're human, means they have wounds that make them unable to be truly generous, means they're stuck in survival mode where everything is about them, because if everything isn't about them, they feel invisible, they feel worthless, they feel like they're drowning. But knowing why doesn't obligate you to accept it. Knowing why doesn't obligate you to keep organizing your life around their emotional needs. Possibility two, you're going to see how dishonest they've been. Not necessarily lying directly, but being selectively truthful, sharing information strategically, telling you what you want to hear instead of what you need to hear, creating false impressions through omission. And you're going to start wondering what else they've been dishonest about. You're going to start questioning things you accepted because you trusted them. You're going to start seeing that their word isn't as reliable as you thought, that their integrity is conditional, that they've been willing to deceive you for their own benefit. This realization is going to make you paranoid, maybe, make you question everything they've ever told you, make you wonder if they've been deceiving you about major things or if dishonesty is limited to small stuff. Either way, trust is broken. Once you see dishonesty, once you realize someone's been willing to lie to you, the relationship fundamentally changes. Possibility 3, you're going to see their cruelty. Maybe they haven't been intentionally cruel. Maybe cruelty has been passive. Maybe it's been them withdrawing affection to punish you. Maybe it's been them making jokes at your expense and calling it humor. Maybe it's been them saying things designed to hurt you, wrapped in, I'm just being honest. And you're going to realize that they knew what they were doing, that cruelty wasn't accidental, that they were aware their words or actions hurt, and they did them anyway because some part of them wanted to hurt you, wanted to cut you down, wanted to diminish you. This is hard realization because it means accepting that someone you cared about, someone you believed cared about you, was willing to cause you pain. It means accepting that you loved someone who didn't love you the way you deserve to be loved, who didn't protect you, who didn't put your safety and well-being as priority. Possibility 4, you're going to see how emotionally unavailable they really are. You've maybe made excuses for their distance, told yourself they were just private, just needed space, just weren't good at emotions. But now you're seeing that their unavailability isn't about being private, it's about being incapable or unwilling to go deep, to be vulnerable, to meet you in the places where you most need to be met. And you're going to realize that you've been doing all the emotional work. You've been the one reaching. You've been the one trying. You've been the one showing up fully while they've been showing up halfway, quarter way, or not showing up at all except when it's convenient. This realization is going to hurt because it means accepting that the intimacy you thought you had wasn't reciprocal, that you've been more invested than they were, that you were trying to reach someone who wasn't reaching back, who wasn't capable of reaching back, who might not have ever been able to give you what you needed, even if they wanted to. Possibility 5, you're going to see how much damage they've actually done, not just to the relationship, to you, to your self-esteem, to your ability to trust, to your capacity for vulnerability with other people, to your belief that you're worthy of genuine love. You're going to realize that their treatment of you has shaped how you see yourself. You're going to notice that you've internalized criticism they've given. You're going to see that you've been operating from belief that you're not enough, not worthy, not lovable. And that belief came from how they treated you, how they prioritized you or didn't prioritize you, how they valued you or devalued you. This is the hardest realization because it means accepting that someone hurt you, not just in the relationship, but in fundamental ways that created wounds you'll be carrying and healing for longer than you knew them. This reflection invites you to consider, which of these possibilities do you sense might be true about this person, and which one terrifies you most? Now, let me address what happens when clarity arrives and the illusion shatters. First, you're going to feel betrayed. because you were betrayed. You trusted them with incomplete information. You loved them based on incomplete picture. You organized your life around incomplete understanding. And now the completeness is arriving, and it's showing you that you were wrong about who they were, what they wanted, what they were capable of. Betrayal feels like they lied to you. But often what happened is you lied to yourself about them, and they let you keep lying because your lies about them served them. They didn't have to correct your perception. They benefited from your positive perception. They benefited from you seeing best in them, even though best didn't exist. This is going to make you angry. Angry at them for not being who you thought they were. Angry at yourself for not seeing clearly. Angry at the time you wasted. Angry at the energy you gave. Angry at the love you offered that was given to person who didn't deserve it because the person you thought you were giving it to doesn't actually exist. Second, you're going to grieve. You're going to mourn the person you thought they were. You're going to mourn the relationship you thought you had. You're going to mourn the future you imagined with them. All of that is dying as your perception shifts. This grief is legitimate. Let yourself feel it. You're not grieving who they actually are. You're grieving who you believed them to be. You're grieving the potential you saw in them. You're grieving the love story you thought you were in before you realized you were actually in the different story, sadder story. Story where you loved someone who didn't love you back or who couldn't love you because they're incapable. Third, you're going to question your judgment. How did you not see this? How did you miss red flags? How did you believe lies? How did you excuse behavior? How did you construct narratives so different from reality? This is normal. This is you learning from your mistake, but don't weaponize this against yourself. You didn't miss red flags because you're stupid. You missed them because you wanted to believe better version. You believed lies because you wanted them to be true. You excused behavior because you loved them, and love makes us creative in finding excuses. You're not fool, you're human. You're a person who wanted to believe best in someone. That's not character flaw, that's capacity for love. The learning is going forward. The learning is pay attention to red flags earlier. The learning is don't construct narratives that override actual behavior. The learning is love doesn't obligate you to accept being treated poorly. Fourth, you're going to have to decide what to do. Do you stay in relationship with this person now that you see them clearly? Do you leave? Do you try to address what you're seeing? Or do you just disappear? This is hard decision because even seeing them clearly, even knowing they're not who you thought they were, you might still have feelings. Feelings don't disappear just because clarity arrives. You can see someone clearly and still love them. You can recognize they're harming you and still want them. You can know they're wrong for you and still struggle to leave. But clarity gives you information to make better choice than you could make before. Clarity gives you ability to choose based on actual facts rather than based on illusions. Clarity lets you say, this person isn't meeting my needs. This person isn't who I thought they were. I deserve better, and I'm choosing to find better. This reflection invites you to consider, if you saw this person clearly tomorrow, would you choose to stay with them or would you choose to leave? Let me address what you need to do to prepare for this shift in perception. First, stop defending them mentally. Stop finding reasons why their behavior is actually okay. Stop creating excuses. Stop reframing their actions in ways that make them seem more palatable. Let their behavior be what it is. Let it be unkind. Let it be selfish. Let it be dishonest. Don't soften it. Don't excuse it. Don't minimize it. See it for what it is and acknowledge that seeing it clearly is not being mean or unforgiving. It's being honest. Second, start noticing patterns. Don't just notice one incident. Notice pattern of incidents. Notice how they consistently prioritize themselves. Notice how they consistently withhold truth. Notice how they consistently hurt you in similar ways. Patterns reveal character more honestly than individual incidents. Third, check your perception against other people's perception if you trust those people. Ask, trusted friend, what do you think of this person? And listen to their answer without defending. Hear what they're seeing that you're not seeing. Use their clarity to supplement your clarity. Fourth, journal about who you thought they were versus who they actually are. Write down the person you believed them to be. Write down the person you're discovering they actually are. Put them side by side. See the gap. See how large the gap is. See what that gap means. Fifth, prepare yourself for possibility that seeing them clearly means ending relationship. Get support in place now. Tell people you trust that you're processing something difficult. Create safety net so when shift happens, you're not falling alone. Sixth, start mentally separating. Start thinking of your future independent of them. Start envisioning life where they're not central. Start considering possibilities that don't include them. This prepares you for actual separation if that's what needs to happen. This reflection invites you to consider what support do you need in place before your perception shifts completely. Let me address what happens after clarity fully arrives and you're seeing them completely differently. First, your tolerance for their behavior is going to drop dramatically. Things you excused before are going to become unacceptable. Things you accepted are going to become intolerable. This is clarity doing its job. You might find yourself having conversations you've never had before. Might find yourself setting boundaries you've never set before. Might find yourself saying no in ways you've never said no before. And they might be shocked because they've been used to you accepting their behavior, excusing it, reorganizing yourself around it. Second, you're going to feel relief mixed with sadness. Relief because you finally understand. Relief because you can stop trying to make sense of confusing behavior. Relief because you can stop blaming yourself for their issues. But sadness because relief comes with loss of who you thought they were, with ending of hope that you had about relationship, with acceptance that this isn't going to be what you wanted. Third, you're going to have moments where you slip back into old perception. You'll be going along seeing them clearly, and then they'll do something kind or say something that reminds you of who you thought they were, and you'll momentarily forget everything you've learned. You'll momentarily go back to loving the illusion. This is normal. Healing isn't linear. You'll be fine, and then you'll backslide. You'll be clear, and then you'll get confused. You'll be strong, and then you'll be weak. Give yourself grace through this process. You're not failing. You're integrating new understanding of someone who was always more complex than you realized. Fourth, you're going to have to grieve whether you stay or leave. If you stay, you grieve the illusion. Grieve who you thought they were. Grieve the hope that relationship could be what you wanted. If you leave, you grieve relationship itself. Grieve time you spent. grieve possibility that you cared about. Either way, there's loss. Acknowledge the loss. Don't pretend that seeing someone clearly and choosing to leave is clean and easy. It's not. It's loss even when loss is necessary, even when loss is healing. Fifth, you're going to have to build new relationship with this person if you decide to keep them in your life. Old relationship was based on illusion. That relationship is dead. If you stay, new relationship has to be based on who they actually are, not who you thought they were. That's harder relationship. That requires different boundaries, that requires different expectations. And maybe new relationship isn't worth building. Maybe clarity is telling you that this person doesn't belong in your life at all. Listen to what clarity is telling you. Trust that clarity. Trust that seeing someone for who they really are is gift, even when gift is painful. You're about to see this person very differently. The illusion is cracking. The image you've constructed is becoming obsolete. And when clarity arrives completely, when you see them without lens, when you finally understand who they actually are instead of who you wanted them to be, you're going to have to make choice. Do you want to stay in relationship with actual person, or were you in love with illusion? Trust your answer, honor your answer, let your answer guide what happens next. Clarity is coming. Prepare yourself. You're stronger than the truth, even when truth destroys what you believed.